Good morning and welcome to this devotion. I have this little 15-year or month-old grandson in my house that caused my whole house to be in turmoil. He can't speak yet, and he grunts and makes sounds and points at things. And the surprising thing is that most of the time we understand what he's trying to tell us. What I find so funny is that I probably understand him better than I understand a lot of people around me who speak perfect English. And I think the reason for us understanding him is that because we and I understand his intention, understand his needs. And when people come to me, most of the time, their intentions, I don't even know what it is. And being a man, that doesn't make things any simpler. Implied things and things said in veiled words, I get all wrong. Just ask people around me, I get it wrong all the time. And I'm telling you this because when we read the Bible, the same thing applies. We have to be on top of what the intention is. We have to be on top of what the story behind the story is. There's this book in the Bible, this gospel in the Bible named Luke, and it's written to this Greek guy by the name of Theophilus. And in Luke chapter 1, Luke makes it very clear whom he's writing to. He says, "It seems good for me to write an orderly account for you, most excellent Theophilus, so that you may know this for certainty of the things you have been taught." So we understand the intention of this gospel very clearly, that it's written to this well-off Greek guy by the name of Theophilus. And whenever we read anything in this gospel, we must always understand that it's written to this well-off Greek guy. Where things really gets interesting is in chapter 6 of this gospel, where Luke records these woes and these warnings and these blessings that Jesus teaches the disciples. He starts off and he says, "Blessed are those who are poor," and then 4 verses later he writes, "But woe to you that are rich." And then he goes on, he says, "Blessed are you who hunger now," and 4 verses later he writes, "Woe to you who are well fed." And he writes, "Blessed are you who weep now," and 4 verses later, "Woe to you who laugh now." And he writes, "Blessed are you when men hate you, when they exclude you and insult you and reject you for your name because of the Son of Man." And 4 verses later he writes, "Woe to you when men speak well of you, for that is how their fathers treated the false prophets." And you must remember that Luke is writing to this well-off Greek guy, telling him, "Watch out, Mr. Rich Guy. Watch out for being well-fed. Watch out for being so happy." And he also says, people will hate you, and people will speak badly about you because of Jesus. Now over the centuries, scholars have had a field day with this piece of scripture, because they're saying Luke is writing to this well-off Greek guy, telling him, "Blessed are the poor. Woe to you for being rich." And there's this group of scholars or this train of thought that says this is all spiritual. That he says the blessings and the woes are about being spiritually poor, about being spiritually rich, about being spiritually hungry, and about being spiritually mournful and spiritually sad. And then there's this opposing group of people that say, no, this is all about the actual things, about the people that are really poor, the people that are really hungry, people that are really sad. Luke is reminding them that this is who they are speaking to, and the rich people have a responsibility. They've been given this wealth and this rich to look after the people that are poor. That Luke is reminding them that you're great at making money, but you're not so good at distributing the money to those that need it the most. One school of thought is saying that Theophilus is being told that the spiritual side of life is important. And the other school of thought is saying to Theophilus that he's being told that your wealth comes with responsibility. Your faith comes with persecution. And I think both right. I think that you cannot have the spiritual side without taking care of the needy. I think Theophilus is being told that to be spiritual, you've got to deal with your wealth. I think that these two are so interwoven that you cannot have the one without the other. You cannot have the spiritual hunger and thirst and righteousness without the physical care for people that are hungry and crying and in need. And I think the two are you can't have the one without the other. I think it's very important that you understand the two are interwoven. And that, I think, is what the Spirit of God is telling Luke to tell Theophilus, and ultimately to tell us, that you cannot have the one without the other. Now, the interesting part, that Theophilus is a Greek name that means friend of God. I believe Luke is implying that if you count yourself as a friend of God, you have physical and spiritual responsibilities to get to. So my message this morning is to all you friends of God. May you tackle this responsibility physically and spiritually. May you know God's blessings physically and spiritually. Until we meet again, God bless.